Hello and welcome everyone. This is Blackadder at Blackadder's Place and I welcome you to today's stream. We are going to be after some time having actual Age of Empires 2 again. As well, I was kinda planning on recorded games today from Clash of the Titans, but since there is a bit of an interesting show match right now going on for a tournament, I'm kinda slightly eyeing if maybe we could be doing at least some games. It's gonna be starting about few weeks from John Slow and a group. Well, and it's gonna be featuring Sudden Death, which seems to be lately in the Age of Empires 2 community quite a bit of a rage. There are about like 5 tournaments or how many about that. So yeah, people apparently getting enamored with this mode. We are knowing very well from Age of Mythology, as that map has been used Sudden Death very commonly in, for example, even RTS League and well, even in other tournaments. And overall, we have seen it a few times. No, but therefore, I haven't entirely seen it too much in Age of Empires 2, so I'm kind of looking forward how it's also gonna be played out. And in case you are not entirely familiar with what Sudden Death actually means, then it means you cannot build extra TCs, and if you lose your starting TC, you lose. So I'm kind of expecting that you might be having some kind of TC rushes, potentially even all kinds of different strats, so kind of looking forward to what the players are gonna be having in their mind regarding the style of gameplay. No, and for overall the settings, we are gonna be playing 5 games, all 5 of them, with draft for Civilisations and maps. You're gonna be showing that a bit later. As you can see, starting on Arabia, right? Standard Arabia. Oh well, the Civilisations therefore going for the Chinese, and Ganji is gonna be going right now for the Mongols. So of course, since you cannot be taking a second TC, I'm kind of expecting we might be actually see maybe a bit more of a like all-in faster castle plays possibly. I mean, like, you could be having one variety, right? You could be trying to go for some kind of more like stronger feudal age, because obviously the castle age without the TCs is gonna be a bit weaker. But on the other hand, I can definitely also appreciate somewhat of a standard, slightly faster advance into castle. And then it basically has to be like one TC all in, right? And you cannot be right now developing economy. Not much of a reason to be playing anything else. Which therefore should be also... kind of was going to say maybe could be even favoring something like Celts. So I'm looking forward if maybe that's gonna be somewhat relevant. But yeah, I'm not entirely certain what's gonna be the meta that players have already developed over the past few tournaments. No, and therefore, let us have a look maybe at this point, since I've already kind of had some kind of quick look around the map. You can see a bit forward gold mine here for Ganji, but doesn't seem like it's gonna be entirely too hard to work with, as the back line is gonna be actually fairly nice. Big one and easy to keep safe somewhat, close to the DC practically. So not too bad idea, or not too bad position for them. And for him as well, the berries, they are gonna be certainly a bit more open. He's gonna be very much interested, of course, in them, possibly for some early even scouts, I'm imagining. You can see it now, the wall in, Lord aiming directly for them, probably back towards the house. So not entirely certain if he's gonna be wanting to go for something large here, probably not. Probably gonna be just something short, towards maybe the straggler or towards the TC in general. On the other side of the map, we are gonna be therefore for running, having the gold mine possibly a bit better, though it is still quite a bit open. I mean, like you can see right now, there's still gonna be quite nice and easy path to get to it. Yeah, you can theoretically wall this, but it's really far away already from him. So not really sure if he's gonna be liking it, if you'll be liking it too much. So you're gonna be therefore having maybe some kind of short wall towards that, then towards the berries, and that's it. And all the way to the top. No, that's actually quite a bit incredibly open. Not liking that too much, potentially there, because he has to be thinking about the second wood line, right? And from what I'm seeing of the map, it looks like that this one is gonna be maybe the favorite, next to berries. So therefore, I don't know, barracks maybe here. Maybe market when he's gonna be in the next age. So we can definitely see a few options. So you're gonna be already advancing into the age number 2. Feudal at 28 currently for running, and we're gonna be having Ganji a little bit faster. You can see Ganji 3 villages quicker. Obviously we are having Chinese, so this is gonna be a bit skewed, as the difference is about 2 wills. Yeah, that seems to be somewhat fitting. In the end, going around the gold. I mean, like as the Chinese, you can be practically choosing what to go for. But of course, for quite some time already, the meta kind of is that you're gonna be basically building everything in the feudal age anyway. There's gonna be maybe some kind of start with a specific unit, but you're gonna be usually switching into the other types fairly commonly and regularly. Yeah, don't stand on the carpet. That's not nice. Okay, barracks therefore gonna be in the end actually here at the back a bit more. Whereas on the other side, that's gonna be the stable for the Mongol. Yeah, so far, obviously the 17, no, obviously, kind of expected. Let's put it that way, with the 17 villager advance, that is gonna be going for the Scoutenos. And on the other side, just immediate preparation with the Spearman, and we are going to be seeing the stable as well. So, yep, that's kinda how it is lately, with not an ideal pathing, let's say. People have really started playing a lot more scouts at the expense of the archers. Now I guess let's therefore wait for the first engagements here. You just also have to be fixing right now the link on Discord because they have kind of like the stupid things there regarding the underscores. Why is it actually acting up this way? Okay, this way, I guess this way. Yeah. Guess gonna be right about now, fine. Oh, well, actually it's not. So, no, nonetheless. There's a problem that if you have underscore, it's gonna be thinking that it's actually supposed to be formatting for like cursive. So therefore for italics. But unfortunately, that's not entirely what you want all that much. I guess you're gonna be having to pay attention here already. Can say it now, quite nice army prepared for Ganji, who is obviously in pretty good form lately. But it's not only lately, but I definitely do recognize that he's having some decent results in the 1v1 tournaments, where other times when with Run Forest Run RFR a few years ago, he was a great team game player, and now, well, he has also become a great 1v1 player as well. Nice to be seen the development, whereas for Running, he is on the radar a lot longer as a quality 1v1 player. So he definitely should be having some interesting games between the players. No, otherwise when this is gonna be done, depends how long it's gonna be taken. I have no idea if the sudden death games are shorter. Theoretically they could be shorter than normal games. Kinda like not entirely like 40-minute affairs. But we'll see. Gonna be streaming of course all. And well, then depending on how much time we have, we might be doing some further games. I'm thinking from Clash of the Titans. There are some matches that maybe I'll be liking to stream, so yeah, well, we'll see how it's gonna be faring. If I'm gonna be still safe from cutting through, even though it's gonna get in a bit dangerously close in there to possible issues. Otherwise, of course, you can watch this on John Slow's stream, Twitch TV/JohnSlow_, and then plenty other people are also streaming like Orlu and Juan Perotti in Spanish. Then you do have also Memp is streaming. Now thinking also somebody else was there. Margugu. Also, maybe somebody else is gonna be also joining up, entirely certain. Not entirely certain about that. Okay, wait, but now fix something here. Now, finally got links properly. And the Discord post, but nonetheless, you're gonna be at this point basically just like chilling. You can see right now defensive tower protecting the woodline, and about the other one, he actually didn't manage to find the time running to get it under control. You can see he's gonna be having at least some small scouting party getting ready, but, well, looking at the wall in and looking at the spearmen around here, it doesn't seem like that really Genji is gonna be allowing him too much. Though maybe in a moment there could be some kind of hole on the wood line. There's maybe something to be taken care of and pay attention to. Can see. Yeah, well, against the stone wall, obviously not much to be done here. I mean, like, he's gonna be at this point without fletching still. Nonetheless, not like he's gonna be able to shoot too much further. Those are gonna be completely safe here on the top side. So maybe like a few here to the bottom will be in the range, but that's maximum, and it's not really gonna be like ruining anything. As you can see, gonna be already advancing into the castle. Yeah, tons of gold, so of course classic market advance. So we'll see if there's gonna be in the next patch. There were like already 2 months without a patch, right? A long time before we're gonna be, or to see if there's gonna be some kind of touching on that. Should be supposedly some kind of patch for Hidden Cup with the pathfinding, but yeah, well, you know how it kinda goes with that and the developer skill on and in that regard. But nonetheless, everybody's also gonna be expecting some of the market, something to done with the market. as it really is quite a bit overbearing in the community, and it really is just kind of like too easy to work with. And one has to wonder if really moving it into Castle Age wouldn't be a good option, because, I mean, like, if you look at the other Age of games, then it's quite a bit evident that it simply is better in the castle, that in the feudal age it simply does create all kinds of issues. I mean, like, typically in Age of Mythology, you're gonna be seeing it pretty well, that you're gonna be having a market in the castle, and it really isn't anything too much broken, and you can't be really doing too many wild things with that. I think the exchanges are maybe a bit too kind, and on the other hand, it's not even just like about the exchanges, but simply the fact you're having tons and tons of gold in your base, so therefore you can just kind of afford to basically waste it for some kind of better advance into castle and better control of the game, because then through that you're gonna be able to get further gold mines, right? So it really doesn't matter if you're gonna be wasting the gold practically on inefficient prices too much. Okay, you can say now castle for both. Apparently right, but now gonna be immediately switching into cavalry archers here for the Chinese, as bloodlines are also researched for both players, and economically, well, 34 for each. Not any kind of difference anymore. Used to be at one village extra for running. No, and now though, what maybe could be a bit more of a bigger problem than gold is actually the wood currently for running, as Genji seems to be having him under fairly solid control. You're gonna be aiming for some kind of forward siege workshop. So far, doesn't seem so. Not entirely much of a case, as on the other side, just like bro, protection by the university, he needs to be giving himself a bit of time and a bit of kind of like protection on the farms. But also a bit of a problem for him is that he really doesn't have that much of a choice but to go for the cavalry archers, which is not like a bad choice. But he just like literally doesn't have place for the farms in the base, since he's basically playing in a bit of a almost like on tiny map with almost no base available to him. Supposed to of course rate about now Genji, who is having a bit more space possibly. But yeah, well, he can't be taking any kind of extra TCs again. So this is right now, I was already going to say, if he's gonna be making like a second TC somewhere at the back, he's gonna be having another great like spot to develop his economy, but nope, we are in the sudden death version of Age of Empires 2, so therefore only one TC, and that's it, that's what you're gonna be getting. So on one hand, you could be thinking that it's gonna be maybe quickening up the game, because you can't be booming, so therefore you're gonna be having more of warfare, more immediate warfare in the game. On the other hand, since you're gonna be on the lower economy in general, since you can't be growing as quickly, then it could be also from that point of view a bit slower. These players are gonna be most probably wanting to be a bit more careful about everything. And you of course don't have that much of like a replacement power, right? So that's the reasoning for that. So in the end, really no idea. So this is gonna be my first, maybe actually it might be legit first sudden death that I'm seeing in Age of Empires 2. Again, I've seen plenty of it in Age of Mythology. And that is also a bit specific, especially in team games. Because there is like a specific map for sudden death. And in team games, you're going to be having basically like a TCs in a row. So I wonder if there, I actually think there is some kind of map like that for the team games that we have. There are right now the team game tournaments and showmatches and whatnot going on as well. As I mentioned, sudden death somehow has become a bit of a rage in the community. I guess people getting a bit tired of the standard gameplay, and therefore finding some kind of fun in all of that. So kind of one has to wonder if maybe King of the Hill is gonna be maybe becoming a bit more of a thing. It already somewhat has been. It's not like it's anything completely unknown. But well, let's see if maybe some kind of different modes also really becoming interesting. But well, apparently something like Empire Wars, well, never is and never was, even though there were huge tournaments for that. So all the versions and kind of like all the variants of the gameplay seem to be maybe a bit more... Okay, there's a hole already. Wow, yeah, actually there was a hole already. A bit more interesting to the players themselves, as the wolf, or wolf lion rather, he's probably not gonna be blocking this. Yeah, he should be able to get through anyway. Actually did manage to get a kill in there, probably with a bit of a help from some of the horse archers here. Seems like the lion is actually finding... Oh, wow, there is actually a straight hole in there.
look at see. It's really impossible to see at this point, but apparently there is a pathway in. I wonder, no, I mean like wonder. Running definitely couldn't be seeing that, so if he's gonna be randomly clicking into the enemy base, he could be theoretically getting some way through. But otherwise, you can see running is gonna be at 45 villages, only 39 for Genji. Oh, the Genji, sorry. From the Amigos, as the Chinese is gonna be economically unupgraded. Whereas for Genji, the Mongol, he is going to be, well, basically the same. You can see just like a high investment into the army only. And of course, trying to camp the hill. There is another elevation, by the way, here, where the house is. So that's potentially somewhat interesting, but really important defensive battlefield here. Or, well, maybe even offensive as well, but mostly defensive, considering quite nice hillocks and a broad valley. With good maneuvers, Genji can be getting quite nice edge. With him currently at 29 units against only 20 from running. Economically, it seems like gonna be apparently keeping about the 5 difference. So kinda random here, those spearmen. I guess maybe he's looking for exactly those kind of opportunities where running is gonna be trying to go around him. There is still the hole here, by the way. So as he clicked in. Nah, just gonna see in the villages. And unfortunately, Genji just like completely oblivious to the fact he probably hasn't noticed the lion. Because they were fighting somewhere about here. Having to micro both of them. So there is still some kind of path to be wound through all of those housings. But nonetheless, all the way to the south, you're gonna be having some better range. Already at, you can see right now 6. He's gonna be able to block a bit more of goalies. Potentially even here from somewhere on the right. Can be going a bit deeper here. And that's again the overflowing graphics. Maybe been slightly confusing, but unfortunately for blue, you can see right now the tower is gonna be having damn good range. However, right now the gold, no, practically gold for him at this point. The wood lines are going to be quite a bit funny, and that's also really important because since you do not have the extra TCs, which would usually be used to secure yourself some secondary wood line, well, you obviously can't be doing anything of that, and that's creating right now great opportunities for raids. So this is really just kind of fun, and this is something I also would be liking to have some kind of maps in Age of Mythology, limiting TCs. In case you don't know that, you are of course in Age of Mythology playing with basically like one TC you start with, and then you have preset TCs on the map that you are basically allowed to take. No, and therefore I'll be very much liking if there were maps with different amounts of them, because basically all of them, no, not all of them, feature 2 extra TCs per player. I think it need to be really just quite nice to be having different ones, maybe only 1 per player, 3, or maybe 0 again. It will be just like completely changing the overall game style of the map and of the game. So, well, maybe this is gonna be my inspiration for finally try to make that happen. But yeah, well, it of course requires some help of map scripters for proper spawns of the map. Though it actually doesn't have to be too difficult if you're gonna be going into the extreme and getting only like no extra TC. It's just gonna be deleting the TCs from the map script and you're done, right? For the 1 and more, that's gonna be a bit trickier because gonna be of course constraints with the hunt and just gonna making sure that they are gonna be spawned at least reasonably for both players. Can say it now. Cavalry, no. Okay. Do we have actually ballistics for both? Genji does. And Chinese as well. Okay. Economically, by the way, still quite a bit on the lower side. So you do have right now some small raiding on the corner of the map. Exactly the problem, right? Since you don't have the TCs, you would have to be protecting the wood line with potentially towers at minimum. But that is a bit difficult and unwieldy to do for him. With currently about 10 villages more for running. That has increased, but seems like right now the raiding on the woodies is gonna be exactly fixing that. Okay, a lot of standing army, as he has to be right now. No, well, has to be. He was hoping to kind of save the villies, but as we have mentioned, there was a 10 village difference. Suddenly it's gonna be immediately evaporating. Locked gold as well, by the way, as this one is gonna be slowly running out. Now we have only 3 village difference in favor of running. Whereas on the army, Genji is at 18 more. It's almost like, well, some kind of 2/3 more than what running is having ready. Otherwise, for his upgrades, 2 and 1. 2 and 1 on the other side as well. Okay, does he have... Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so he's gonna get a bit murdered here. Yep, with ballistics that's gonna be very easy. With, by the way, husbandry not for running. Ganjero, he is actually having that lorry, so he's gonna be having some better chance to run around, maybe even dodge, but still with ballistics already in, it's gonna be kinda hard anyway, as he's gonna be having right now the secondary army coming from the different direction, and now of course the high difference in the numbers of the units is gonna be definitely helping Ganji. Quite nice hill to run into, by the way. That's how many? 16, not 28. Mia gets a bit of a scary army. Currently, of course, that's gonna be allowing Ganji to be potentially in multiple places at once, as he has some more practical randoms from a bit earlier, so nothing too important, and, well, he's gonna be here slightly too fast and too quick, but 400 gold still left for running on the mine. Now this is gonna be kinda tough, yeah. It's just like way too much of a power play at this point for running, even with the disadvantage that he has. Though it might be actually still somewhat of a decent result for Ganji, especially if he's gonna be joining fast enough with the second. And he's not gonna be caring about it, he's just gonna wants to be killing the vills. And you can see that they are not entirely focused in the town centers, right? You could be thinking, well, kill TC win. You might just gonna build some kind of surprise army and let's go. With Rams, for example, from the side. But yeah, well, that's easier said than done if you don't have the economy to support that, right? If you're gonna be having 40 vills the whole game, then that's a whole different story than if you be by now having 100 plus already at 35 minutes, by the way, of game time. So yeah, it's quite a bit of a different style of gameplay, and therefore, as you can see, doesn't necessarily have to be heading into anything too much shorter, and this is, at this point, gonna be resulting into Ganji practically right now dropping into the same numbers as running. However, not on the villages. The villager massacre has been quite a bit thorough, with 50 for Ganji, running at 31. No, about, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, it was 10 villages more for running. Now it's 20 less for him. So 30 villager difference in just a few minutes. Not great at this point for him, as you can see. He's gonna be still having a bit of gold left, but 700. Most importantly, interested in the middle. And is he gonna be there for heading for like a castle? Also seems like it maybe Imperial Age is a bit of a pipe dream right now with limited economy and high military investment. So maybe you're gonna be really having some kind of heavy castle fights. As by the way, Arabia, if I remember correctly, I'm gonna be showing the drafts as well, probably on the second game, as he didn't manage to get here in time for that. I'm thinking that Arabia was the preset map, kind of, by the admins. Or kind of by the admins. Probably gonna be, I haven't entirely looked at the map for the maps. If it's gonna be like map that wasn't picked or banned, could be. That's kind of fairly common in tournaments. And how it is very commonly done. I can say it now, 18 versus 21. Can say now absolutely nothing clicked in for running. He's having quite a huge problem. 0 villages on foot currently. 9 on the wood. Yeah, I mean, like at this point the missing economy for him. While he does have gold, it's still going to be at this point well in hands of Ganji. You can see even the score difference of 1,000. And I guess this is gonna be also kinda good to, since it's a show match. By the way, like, if I'm not mistaken, 20 euro for a win. 100 in total. All 5 games are played, so quite a motivation for the players. You can see Ganji getting himself a thumb ring. It's gonna be very good to maybe even play a bit longer, even though it kinda looks like that is decided just to be testing what kind of situations you can be still getting away with. As I'm not really thinking that players are gonna be having that much of a deep experience with that. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a damn good plan to be seeing what else they can do. But well, at the same time, of course, it's gonna be getting a bit annoying to be losing villages in such high numbers constantly and all the time. You can see down to 17 villages for running. So yeah, at this point he's already starting to push it a bit, as he's gonna be having some kind of small block on the gold as well. But is it gonna be of any kind of consequence with 12 villages? Nah, it won't. Even though he does have nice army. But 29, well, opponent already at 38. And of course, resources, not entirely like for the mythic no, or Imperial Age rather, since you are in Age of Empires 2. But it really does not seem like you're gonna be getting anything too bad, even though this is already like 3 dead villages, from what I can see here. So this was apparently secret, not only to me, but also to Ganji, for quite a bit longer period of time. Okay, gonna be able to block him quite a bit fully, so those are gonna be all dead game. The Reas, all the way to the south. Yeah, that's gonna be practically the same situation. We're gonna be having everybody in the place. 22-33. Yeah, that's gonna be quite evident. And GG, therefore, after the first game, that took actually 40 minutes. So that wasn't anything too short here. But nonetheless, quite a good showcase of quite a bit of a different style of gameplay. And frankly, it's first, quite a bit refreshing. And second, it's actually kinda fun. Somewhat reminds me of Vanilla Age of Mythology, which frankly is also quite a bit fun. It's definitely the better version of Age of Mythology. Vanilla without the Titans expansion, even though of course Titans is the main version that everybody plays as the last exp and data disk. But yeah, it is going to be quite a bit fun to be there for seeing the rest of it as well. So let us have at this point an opportunity to look into upgrades into economy are gonna be still non-existent. There's not much of a reason for them. You can see missing just like the second arch armor. And for Mr. Running, that's gonna be the same idea, not having the thumbring there, or husbandry for example. And I guess with the villages 44-11, 40-14 on the army, let's gonna switch into the statistics and see what the second game is gonna be bringing. Gonna be continuing with some home maps, but again, we are gonna be playing all 5 games, so it doesn't entirely matter what kind of order of business is gonna be taken here by the players. Only one building actually destroyed. Imagine might be some kind of wall only. $1,300 and 2-1, so it's gonna be 3-4. 4,400 resources more for Ganji. And actually for a really high amount of time, the purple player was higher than blue. But then, those raids finally paid off. Samish feudal castle, and I guess GG.